Coverage you can count on. KOMU 8 News Today starts now.
Well, good morning to you, Mid-Missouri and TGIF. Today is Friday, September 15th, 2023. I'm Jordan Bridger. Thanks for waking up. We are ready for the weekend over here.
Yes.
Beth Finello is with us to get a look at that weather. Am I crazy, or was it a little bit cooler outside than it was yesterday?
It is. Oh, it definitely is.
And if we need to go all out, we will. Everything is on the table.
It is official. The United Auto Workers Union is headed to the picket line. The UAW is now on strike against the three big automakers for the first time in history. The UAW strike began at GM's Wentzville, Missouri plant, which had 3,600 members on its staff. Ford's Michigan truck plant in Wayne, Michigan, that'll have 3,300 strikers, and Stellantis Toledo's assembly complex in Ohio, where 58,000 people will be on strike. The UAW is striking against General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis. The automakers offered the union pay hikes, but it was not enough to meet their demands by the end of the contract. The president of the union says he didn't want negotiations to come to this.
From day one, we've told these companies, we don't expect them to delay and drag things out, and that's what they've chose to do. We didn't want to be here. We want a fair agreement. We want fair economic and social justice for our members. That's what this is all about.
One lawmaker in Michigan is speaking out in support of the strike.
The economy is not working for them now. They're really struggling every single day. Some of them have to work 7 days a week in these plants. That's not a life.
General Motors said in a statement it was disappointed but would continue to bargain in good faith with the union. Columbia's Police Review Board met last night in a special session. During the meeting, board members questioned police officials on the department's use of force policies. KOMU 8's Madison Ricks is live at CPD to tell us more about that meeting. Hey, Madison, good morning.
Good morning, Jordan. Board Chair Reese Ellis says the department needs to review its policies. CPD's policy right now allows officers to use chokeholds in some cases. However, board members say department policy is too vague when it comes to this specific tactic. Department policy says the chokehold should only be used at the only reasonable means available at the time. Ellis says he thinks it's good for both officers and citizens to know how to define the use of force more clearly. DeAndre Thompson, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer, also thinks there is an opportunity to add to the existing policy.
The city and the police department has an opportunity to evaluate how the structure of the policy kind of currently resides. If there's opportunity for us to add in different language that is more specific, or add in some different graphics, things that will kind of bring out the information a little bit more clearly.
The review board will continue to work with CPD to clearly define its use of force policy. Live at CPD, Madison Ricks, KOMU 8 News.
All right, Madison, thank you. A Columbia man will spend 30 years in jail for child sex crimes in two separate cases. Marvin Ross Shipman pleaded guilty to child molestation and statutory sodomy. A judge sentenced Shipman to 30 years with no possibility for parole for the sodomy charge. A different judge sentenced Shipman to 15 years for the molestation charge. The sentences will run concurrently. After that, he must register as a sex offender and is subject to a lifetime supervision. A doctor with ties to Columbia was sentenced for Medicare and Medicaid fraud. Justin Lamonda was sentenced to almost 2 years in prison for defrauding Medicare and Medicaid of more than $500,000. Lamonda, whose practice was based in Moberly, used his father's name to bill the agencies for services that were never provided. In March, Lamonda pleaded guilty to making false statements related to health care matters. He will serve 22 months in prison and reimburse Medicare and Medicaid more than $537,000. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley has introduced a new antitrust act to break up meatpacking and poultry monopolies. It's known as the Strengthening Antitrust Enforcement for Meatpacking Act and comes after Tyson Foods announced it will close its doors in southern Missouri. Officials say that will cost the state more than 2,000 jobs. Senator Hawley hopes this act will put more power back in the hands of farmers and workers. Drain County officials have announced results from a healthcare needs assessment study. It found the community is in need of a hospital after the closure of Noble Health's facility in 2022. Results show that a critical access hospital would be financially sustainable. It would be a facility with about 16 inpatient beds and 24-hour emergency care with a 4-day stay limit. That type of hospital would be eligible for federal funding intended to help rural communities. With Noble Health closing, patients are now forced to travel nearly an hour to get emergency care. A former nurse at the hospital says this can be the difference between life and death.
When I started to work, we had fresh heart attacks come in and be admitted to the floor. They didn't go through the ER then. So having to travel an extra hour would mean that a lot of them didn't make it.
Survey results show that more than 40,000 residents have been affected by the closure. In fact, in 2021, 67% of people from Audrain County needing medical care went to MU or Boone Hospital for inpatient visits. A budget meeting in Jefferson City got heated over a debate of where more than $500,000 of allocated funds will go. According to the City Council, for the past 15 years, Jefferson City's Parks Department has been getting around 10% of unassigned funds. Now the Parks Department is in danger of losing those funds, which add up to $560,000. The Parks and Rec Commission president says he hopes his presentation for the council shows the support Parks and Rec has from community members.
We just want to make sure that everybody understands how impactful that can be and what our delivery of service and product is to our citizens.
During the meeting, several residents did show their support for the department's funding. The Jefferson City Council will meet Monday to vote on if those funds will be removed from the parks budget.